This is Tuesday, June 1st, 2021. Yesterday was a bank holiday, Memorial Day here in America. So we were off. The markets were not open yesterday, so I had some time to just reflect on the past couple weeks. The past couple weeks that I've been trading live on the Top Step Trading Combine. And if you guys saw what happened on Friday, that was a terrible day, trading wise, mentally, and I ended up losing 1,300, more than 1,000, maybe 1,500. I have to look at the numbers, and that ended up disqualifying me for for being funded through the program that I'm in with them. So that just means that I have to just get back to the drawing board and try it again, like I have been doing for the last year or so, year and a half. I started October 2019. So it has been a long journey in me proving that I can be a consistent trader through consistent intraday trader through the Top Step program. So learned a lot through the process, but also one of the things I'm realizing is I want to get where I want to get to, not just get someplace. I've learned a lot through the process, but I also know that, okay, I just need to be more patient with the journey, not take any shortcuts. And one of the things that came to me was, let's start sharing my journey with people. Let's start sharing my journey on YouTube, very genuinely. The ups and downs, obviously you guys saw the downs. There were a few good trades and good days too last week as well. And so it wasn't, all terrible, but this is all so that I can learn. This is also that I can share this journey. So maybe one of y'all can learn as well. And in the process, honestly, have fun with it too. There's things that differentiate me, I know, from what else is out there. So I'm going to keep doubling down on that. I think I found my niche, my product market fit, if you will. It's a constant process, you could say, but I've never been more confident in what I'm doing now and in the journey that I've decided to sign up for. So all that to say, I wanted to go over a few things for this video, and this is going to be a little bit different than the other ones that I have done before. I'm not doing any live trading today. I've just been watching the market and just setting up some things for the next stage of this platform, this channel's growth. So today I have a few things that I wanted to cover. Who am I? Maybe I should introduce myself instead of just talking about the channel and everything that I've done the last couple of weeks. So my name is Satvik Vasam. Call me Vic. I'm 30 years old. I'm from Overland Park, Kansas. I was born in India. I moved around quite a bit when I was little. I lived in Singapore for a few years in the 90s. And then with my family, we moved to America when I was in 4th grade. Moved to Atlanta, and then we moved to Kansas City, where I went to middle school and high school. And then I went to college, went to engineering school in Illinois, University of Illinois in Champaign. I did 6 semesters there and decided that the end goal that college had for me was not something I wanted. I wanted to get into a specific industry, specifically solar, the renewable energy industry, and I realized that I didn't have the pathway via finishing and getting a degree. I went to many different fairs and asked around, and I was interested in entrepreneurship quite a bit, and I decided, okay, if that's the path that I want to take, then let's go all in. And so I decided to drop out, and got myself into renewable energy industry. Worked in solar for about 5 years. Worked in St. Louis, worked in Houston. Actually got a chance to help start a company in Houston that we ended up exiting. So that was probably, I would say, one of the proudest moments of my life, when we were able to get funded, when we got validation from the Department of Energy, from various partners, including a Fortune 500 company that decided to partner with us. We hired and built up a good following. So that was one of the proudest moments. Many things happened which led us to have to be forced to sell the company. And I decided at that point to reassess where I was in my career, and did I want to be known as the solar guy, or did I want to be, or like, what did I want to be known as? So at that point, I decided to move back home, where I am now in Kansas City. Moved back from Houston here about 3 years and 3 months ago, February 2018. And I was like, okay, let's figure out what I want to be about. And one of the things that really stuck with me about the whole entrepreneurship journey, being an entrepreneur, was how little say I had in how I wanted to build a company. And I speak about that regarding after we raise money. Before we raise money, obviously there were many challenges, and how to make ends meet, and whether people really believed in us or if we were just crazy people. But then after we raised money and we got that validation, we were kind of at the behest of our investors, and they were awesome people. They believed in us, and they believed in the model, and like I wouldn't have, I didn't know any better at that time for me to speak up and all that, and obviously, and I'm thankful for that opportunity. But I realized the system isn't structured to enable entrepreneurs to take risks. We had to be the ones that took the most risk, even though the investors obviously took a risk. They could afford to lose that money. I say that, in as nice a way as possible. They can afford to lose that money. For me and my partners, this was our livelihood, right? This was something that we had put in our blood, sweat, and tears, maybe even our life savings, and even more at risk. And so I would say we had taken a much bigger risk than the investors, as a proportion of what we had at stake. So all that to say, so at that point I just started thinking, like, what do I want to be about? And the more I thought about it, I realized, like, what really gives me the most joy is to help people achieve their dreams. I had a chance to, like, get after and pursue my dreams because of many people, because of my parents, because of my investors, because of the partners who decided to take a chance on me to be a third partner. I had a chance to pursue my dream, which was work in the solar renewable energy industry, and also start a company which ended up being funded, and we exited. So, like, I had a chance to do that, but there were many people that allowed that to happen. And if I had to fend for myself, and I had to, work a 9 to 5 and do that, do whatever I wanted to do on the side, I know that I wouldn't have learned as much. I would have learned maybe other things, but it took a village, right? So, and it took a system. It took a mindset that I was able to have because of the luxury that I was afforded. So I was like, how can I help other people achieve their dreams? And I thought, okay, I is money really the answer? Is money really what enabled me to do what I wanted to do? And the short answer, what I found was yes. Uh, Money not as a blind pursuit of it, but money as a understanding that to have the impact that you want to have, you need it. And to be honest with yourself that you do need it. And to not say that, oh, I'm about, having impact, and I'm about these nonprofit initiatives, and I'm about, social change and social justice, whatever you want to call it. Money really moves the needle. And we live in a capitalist system, and it's the system that has allowed us to have the type of lifestyle and like it's bettered the world, the system. Like, yes, there's things that are wrong with it, but how do you change it? Get after that money. As one of the guys that I follow, you could call it one of my heroes. He ups and downs in the public life, I guess, but Chamath Palihapitiya, is that how you say his last name? But yeah, like, get after the money. That's what he says, and make a change. Use that money to make a change. Don't let it ruin you, or at least be aware of what it can do for you negatively, but accept and don't fight how the system is built. Play that game. So anyway, so I just got into that rabbit hole, I guess you could call it. I was just like, okay, how do I do that? How do I make the change that I want? Like, like, I guess there's two parts of it. Like, I need to feel so strongly about bringing about a certain change in the world. And then to bring about that change, I need to have the resources to make that happen. Money, connections, reputation, whatever you want to call it. That's the second part. So the first one was, okay, how do I create a system that allows this change, allows entrepreneurs to pursue their dreams in a way in which they are not taking unnecessarily outsized risks, because they are the ones that are really causing the innovation and moving the world forward. And like a part of that is also like, how do we solve the labor issue? There's a lot of work that needs to be done in the world today. You name it, there's problems everywhere, right? I mean, I'm optimistic, and but I'm also realistic, and I see that there's work that needs to be done in the world, and people need to be compensated fairly to pursue those problems. I worked in solar, so I'm a big proponent of, okay, we need more renewable energy investment, or not only renewable energy investment, but we need better business models in renewable energy, and better healthcare, better better access to mental health resources. You name it. There's so many problems in the world that we can solve that aren't being fairly compensated because the capital system doesn't allow for that. Or the people who want to innovate on those fields don't have the resources to do that. So how do we solve that labor issue? Like, there's a lot of people that want to find work, and a lot of people that are going to be out of work in the next decade, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done. So how do we solve that issue? And then how do we empower entrepreneurs to actually go out and provide solutions to that? Because I believe, I guess it's an American way of thinking, is we can solve our own problems. The private market can solve problems, and we don't need to have the government. We don't need to depend on the government. Yes, the government plays a role, but more and more so, people, if empowered, can develop solutions which can work with the government, which can work with uh, communities. Like there's the social structure that I believe can work, and I'm not gonna put myself a label and I call myself a capitalist or socialist in one way. Like labels don't work, right? What works is what works, and I don't fall under any category in that respect. So, anyways, I have that worldview. Like I want to look into solutions that help people uh, solve their own problems and empower them to believe in themselves and empower their communities. And so now, what are the resources that I need to get there? And I thought, okay, uh, what is a way in which I can make the most money? Something that is scalable, right? I can spend the next 5 years and go to med school and learn to be a doctor and make my parents proud, and all that. But I believe there's a cap there. Yeah, I guess there's doctors who maybe, I don't know. Are there many doctors who are billionaires? I don't think so. I think most of the billionaires, let's say, are business people or tech entrepreneurs or industry, have like cornered an industry in a specific market. But yeah, like, how do I make money? And a lot of it, and not be ashamed to say that. And so that's when I started getting some guidance from the universe, I guess, from various sources that I follow. And one thing led to another. I first got into options late 2018 after I moved here about 6 months. So first I got into crypto, and I was like, man, this is kind of like a crazy time to be in it. And I had a good amount invested. There was a crash, and I'm still very much following and involved in crypto. Um, but that crash dried up my opportunity to get into the industry the way that I wanted to. And so I reevaluated at that time, and I got into options late 2018. So I went into an option workshop, learned quite a bit, spent the next 6 months or so just doing options trading and understanding some of the math behind it. I can't, sit here and tell you that I know the Black-Scholes model and I can explain to you all that. But I can understand the factors that go into it, and I can, read option chains and understand, and I've built some things on it, so I understand, and I can talk to people and do all that. Um, and then I was really focused on building up a fund, and I talked to friends and family, and raise some funds to do that, and I ended up losing all that money. It wasn't a crazy amount, but it was significant. It was significant enough that I just got embarrassed. That I was like nowhere near where I wanted to be, and the well, first of all, like, I made a lot of money on that, but then I wasn't hedged, and the market took me out, and I was in options. I was not in stocks, and so you make a killing and you lose a killing, and so yeah, I ended up losing a lot of money, and not just my money, but friends and family's money. At that point, I was like, okay, let's really take this seriously, and if I really want to build this fund that I know I can, that I can, that I have to take these deliberate steps and not take shortcuts that I was so keen on taking, because I wanted to get there soon. So at that point, I got into futures trading. I went to a workshop where I was able to learn that the leverage that I wanted, that options gave me, I could find the same leverage, and I could understand the market a lot more deeply in futures, like, because I would be able to study price action more and all that. So let me back up here. So many people say, since I decided, okay, I'm going to build a fund and do all that and go down this path, at that point you have to decide, okay, what kind of trader are you going to be? Are you going to be a fundamentals trader? Are you going to trade on fundamentals? Are you going to trade a specific industry? Are you going to understand an industry, left, right, and center? Are you going to be a technical trader on price action or volume? Are you going to trade every day? Are you a swing trader? Are you an intraday trader? Are you are you more of an investment trader? What software are you going to use? What instruments? Um, like forex, futures. Um, there's so many questions that you just don't know when you first start doing, getting on this journey. Like, who are you as a trader? Like, you work backwards. Like, okay, how much time do I have to invest every day? What are my goals? Like, all the stuff is just, when I first ran this idea by some people, um, people that I respect, friends and family, and outside as well. People were like, "Yeah, you can do this on the side, man. Work a full-time job and just come home and at night and just spend a few hours doing this." But you realize, first of all, the market is a zero-sum game. There's winners and there's losers. There's both sides, and it's a level playing field, meaning everyone plays at the same level, right? There is no like, okay, yeah, I'm not ready for the big leagues yet. I'm gonna just play in these smaller markets and all that. No, especially now with uh, with technology and how many traders have gotten into it, especially in the last year with COVID. Like there's so many participants now. It's so saturated. All the markets are, and especially the markets at the top are especially saturated. And so you literally are playing at the big leagues as soon as you decide to enter the markets. And so you're competing against people who are, I mean, like, who've gone to Ivy League schools and have gotten trained by Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan and all these big banks. And they've literally, all they do is get trained on how to make money in the markets. I mean, there was a stat that I was presented to a couple of years ago, which was like, I think Goldman Sachs had less than 5 losing days in the entire year. The rest of the other 240 something days, 200 something days at least, they made money. And most of those days, they made over $100 million every day, just trading the markets. And obviously that's across derivatives, and that's across different instruments and all that. And obviously they're huge. But like the number of losing days they had, so that means how well hedged they are. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm just not just putting money into this sector or this stock because it's hot and just making a shitload of money on it. No, it's like you're hedged. Like even on your worst days, you're not losing money. And so you're competing against that. Like, let's be real, like you're competing against that versus me. I'm just gonna spend 5-10 hours a month, maybe a little bit more, like just reading up on stuff and hoping that I'll like understand how the markets work and understand myself enough to know like, okay, this is my niche. This is what I'm going to focus on. Screw everything else. Like, it's going to take you years. It'll take you years, like maybe decades, for you to like get to a point where you understand like how you need to be trading. So again, it goes back to like what I know. Like I'm just grateful for the opportunity that I've had to be able to pursue this, because I was able to take loans. Like I was able to convince my parents that, hey, like this is my goal, and I know I have like credit card debt, and I know I have debt from my from my business from before, and I know I'm still living at home, but we're not dying here. Like I know that I can find a job. I've gotten offers, but I was like, now is the time for us to like make the most of this. And the way that I think about it is, my parents took a big risk to come here from India, My family and my many of my relatives, if you go back, like the way that I'm living now, the way that my parents have allowed me to grow up, me and my brother to grow up, is night and day compared to how they grew up and how even some of my relatives live today. And so that's a big step up. That's a big risk that they took so that we could take this big step up. And so for me to just play it safe, it would be doing a disservice. Would be doing a real disservice to what I know me and my brother are capable of, what this family is capable of, and I would not live with myself, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, like knowing that, oh, I could have done so much, but I decided to just play it safe. And it's just a mindset. Many people say, yeah, first, get yourself stable and, figure out your life and get some savings and then get after it. But it's like, it's a mindset. It's like, is your mindset to get after it or and YOLO? I hate that, but YOLO. Or is your mindset to give into what society expects of you? So, anyways, I'm rambling a little bit here, but given all that, just grateful that I was able to focus on this full time for the last 2.5 years, almost 3 years, and really understand how it is that I need to be trading, like what works for me, what softwares do I need to use, who do I need to listen to, and what path I'm on. And so, yeah, that is my end journey with trading. Like, it's a means to an end. It's a means to me being able to have the impact that I want to have. It's a means to me being able to be who I want to be in the world. So I believe that makes a big difference, because I know many people. I mean, I hated, not hated, but like I really thought people who went into trading, went into finance, right out of high school, and to study in college, and after that, I really had much. I really did not have much respect for those people. I was just like, man, dude, what are you doing with this? Like, you're just making money. What value are you adding? And if you're clear on that, I believe this is the best way to do that. I don't know anything else that can have the returns that this can have, that's scalable, because I can prove out my strategy with 1 or 2 contracts and make a few $100. I show that to someone or people who are willing to invest. I can now start trading 100, 200 contracts and immediately scale up everything that I'm doing within, once I prove out my strategy. And that's a big if, to go from 0 to 1. Once you get from 0 to 1, you can go from 1 to 100 much more quickly than anything else that I know of, at least. Especially, you talk about certain markets like crypto these days. You multiply the knowledge that you have of the markets and you apply that to something that's a once in a lifetime wealth generation opportunity. Like, you're really talking like I'm blessed to be in the position that I am now to be able to do this. So that's my end goal with trading. And why did I start TTT? Is to show people, like, yes, the reward is there. I know it because I know people that have done it. And I know there's many people that are interested in it. But I want to show how much training it really takes. How much of this is a mind game? How much of this is a how well do I know myself game? How much of this is a how comfortable are you with how comfortable and how honest you are with who you are? And like this applies to, I guess, in any field, if you want to move up and, climb that ladder, so to speak. But the markets give you, there's a quote that I read in a book, the markets give you what you want. That's pretty deep if you think about it. Like, you want to get money? No, you're like, I'm not explaining it right. So it's like, the markets are a mirror. The markets will give you how, like, what you're putting into it, what you are, how your mind sees and visualizes. The market gives you an immediate response to it. So maybe I'll explain that in the future video a little bit better. Maybe I need to think about that more. It makes sense in my head, at least, that the market gives you what you want, and it's people can't accept that. I know there's days. Last Friday, I couldn't accept that. I couldn't accept like what I was seeing in the market, and so I was forcing trades, and I was trying to see things in a way that were not true. I was not being honest with myself. I was not being honest with my feelings, and so all these things show up immediately. It's literally like a mirror versus, like, in other fields, you like the feedback, the time between action and feedback is a lot longer, and so yeah, that part is something that I want to be able to share on this. I want to be able to learn how I think and learn, and maybe that helps at least one of you guys. And if that helps at least one person, awesome. If it doesn't, I'm just doing it for myself anyways, and I just want to enjoy the process that I'm taking to get there, and I'm getting to understand like how to do many things. Like, okay, how do I? There's so many things that are running right now that I did not think I would be doing just a few weeks ago, since I started to, like, okay, let's start doing this. Like, okay, what softwares do I need? Okay, how many screens and stuff do I need to have in my face? And, what's the quality of this and that? Okay, where do I need to set up? So that there's, hardware stuff and software and, the lag here and, noise there and whatever it is, right? And it's if you run a business, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a problem solver, this is nothing new to you, right? But it does take a commitment, and I'm committed to a few things. So let's start off. Let's go to the next step here. My goals with TTT. This year, I want to write and publish 50 articles through Medium. And like, this is not the only medium that I want to be on YouTube. So let's start growing the channel in other ways. Let's have ways in which people can learn what I need to be able to what I want to share. So yeah, one thing I need to start doing, that I want to start doing, is writing in the mornings. One thing you guys noticed is I trade in the afternoons. Futures. There are many times you can trade. Futures is basically like a 22 and a half hour market. No one really trades from 3:30 to 5 Central, 4:30 to 6 Eastern. So yeah, you have the overnight session, the Globex session, and then the main volume happens during the regular trading hours between 9:30 and 4 Eastern. That's where the most volume is. But I found the time that works for me best for my trading style is between 1:32 to 4 Eastern. And the reason I say that is because you still have a lot of volume, that there's a lot of volume at the beginning of the day, in the morning, when it opens, like right before open, and then definitely through the open for the first 90 minutes or so. And then it kind of dries up, and especially through the lunch hour, it gets slower most days. And then it picks up again for the last 2 hours to the last 90 minutes for sure. So I initially was like, okay, I'm an intraday trader. I realized, and I'll talk about my journey more and how I came to like deciding that I'm going to be trading intraday, and how I decided to trade the instruments that I trade, and the time frames, and my strategy and things like that. Yeah, so I started trading in the mornings, and it was just too volatile for me. I mean, the end of the day is volatile too. It can be volatile. But the early morning hours, or the morning open session times, you just don't know where the market is going to go. I liked the volume there. I liked, knowing that, okay, there's weight, there's momentum behind these moves, and you're not waiting for buyers or sellers to come in to make an outsized move. Like you kind of need, like in the middle of the day, there's not as much of that. You kind of need to wait until the volume picks up for these moves to happen. Generally speaking. So I like that, but I did not like not knowing what the market, it was still showing its hand. So what I liked about trading in the afternoon was the market has shown its hand. Like in the morning and the afternoon, early afternoon session, you're like, okay, the market made its move overnight here, regular trading hours here. Okay, here are some plays that I know that I can wait for. Here are some setups that I can, based off of those moves. Here are the levels, and here's what I can expect to happen, and here's what I can prepare for, and here's what I can, wait to enter. So I really like that. You could be asking, why didn't I trade all day? Why didn't I trade, through the course of the morning and afternoon sessions? I found that it was just too much for me. You need to be looking at the market. You need to be just really focused on the screen. You need to, for lack of a better terminology, feel the market. And so it was just a lot, and I just was getting distracted by other things, and not distracted, but I was just like, okay, I can just, have this on one screen, and while I do something else, and that was not working. So I was like, okay, let's take this seriously. Like if I was sitting at the table looking at just the markets and focused on what I want to, what plays I want to make, this is all I want to be doing. And afternoon is the time. No one else was doing it. That's the other thing. There's some people that are that do live trading on YouTube, and shout out to them for giving me for going first, for showing that, okay, this is possible, this is doable, this is something I can do. But I found that they only really trade in the mornings, which is fine. Like it works for them, and I see nothing wrong with it. If it works for you, do it. But no one was doing it in the afternoons, and no one was doing it in the way that I wanted to do it as well. And so I was like, okay, I found my niche. I found a way in which I can be held accountable for the trades that I'm making, and talking things out. Like, okay, while I'm making the trades, I'm talking things out. Okay, I'm feeling like this. Like, okay, I feel a little tightness in my chest, or I feel a knot in my stomach, or okay, I don't think it's the right trade. And then I talk myself into or out of trades, things like that, the auditory aspect of it. Even though if you've seen my other videos, I'm not talking that much. A lot of it, I'm explaining some parts of it, and but yeah, at least some talking helps me. And so maybe, who knows, in the future, if many of you guys join and log in with me at the same time, then we can have a conversation, and that'll be fun, actually. I'm looking forward to that day, actually. Let's see when that happens. But yeah, so that's a little niche that TTT, I believe, can occupy. So 100 videos on YouTube this year. That's very doable if I keep up my daily trading. these are going to be different videos. So I'm going to have this live trading uh, playlist, and then I'll have a real talk playlist, and then I'll have other things that are relevant. May not be necessarily trading, maybe more vlog style. I don't know yet. We'll see how this channel evolves and how I evolve in the process. So improve each week. If you guys saw the first couple of videos, they were pretty terrible, and that's how it's supposed to be, right? The first one is always going to be the worst. So you just put yourself out there. Yeah, just trying out different softwares. I was just like, let me just start doing this. So yeah, improved, and I think this is going to be my best quality video so far. But yeah, like definitely going to improve. I have some ideas that I'm excited about how I can continue to improve this, continue to improve the video quality, and do things which no one else is doing. And that's going to be coming up this summer. And yeah, and be 100% transparent. I think that's the only way that I can grow this channel, is be 100% transparent in exactly what I'm feeling, what I'm sharing with you guys. And I'm not far from it. Like, I don't know many things. The more I do things, the more I realize, man, I know jack. And I guess that's how life is, right? The more you know, the more you realize, the more you don't know. And yeah, I just want to be transparent about that, transparent about what I win, what I lose. And obviously, I think I need to have a disclaimer that this is not advice. This is not financial advice. I'm not going to be held liable for anything that you guys do based off of what I'm trading. I will share my strategies. A lot of people are going to be like, oh, you're sharing your strategy and something that you work for and have all these statistics for and all that stuff. I don't care. Like that, I think that will help me like better get feedback on it. First of all, like, how can you get feedback if you don't share what you have? And it'll help me like better present, and maybe I'll find one of you guys that want to work with me. Who knows? Like, put myself out there. So yeah, like I'll share things which many people may not be willing to share. And this is not financial advice. This is not like, yeah, like that's not that. This is a way for us to learn from each other. This is a way for you to figure out what works for you. And yeah, if that does that, I'm going to continue to be transparent. And yeah, and if there's feedback, I expect to hear it and be open to it. And that's the only way that I improve. So yeah, next steps. One thing for sure that I learned, and I'm going to go into more detail into this because I just started getting trained on how to better visualize and create a right mindset around trading and trading the way that I trade. And so there's this meditation that I just not came up with, but like I was helped to come up with this meditation that works for me, and specifically what inner dialogue that I am having while I'm trading. And so it's the captain metaphor meditation. And this is something that I've now been doing for the last 4 days. It's where I put myself, like, close my eyes, and I imagine there's a movie playing, that I'm in that movie, and in that movie, I am watching myself as the captain of the ship, and I am feeling what he's feeling, doing, and like basically the camera would be following me around, but also following other things that are happening on that ship that this guy's the captain of. And as I progress through this movie, I get to I get to address certain qualities that I know weren't serving me while trading and transform them into resources which will help me not only in trading but in other parts of my life as well. So I'll actually probably make a video about this in the future, but I have an NLP coach. I have at least one, and I have a team that I'm now working with around this, and specifically for my trading, but I know it applies for other parts of my life as well. And so I've made this like metaphor meditation where I go through this and like, oh, this part is where I feel integrity. This part is where I feel inspiration. This part is where I feel gratitude. Like whatever it is, like I have things in the movie that remind me of what resources are available to me while trading, and now how can I implement those while I'm actually trading so that I can have the success that I know I can, that I've shown that I can. So yeah, I'm really excited about that, to continue doing that. And yeah, I'm going to record myself, like since it's still crystallizing in my head. Like each day that I do this, it becomes more vivid, and it becomes more clear. Okay, now I can go to this, I can go to this part of it, and I can go to this part of the movie. And so once I get a little bit more clear on it, I want to make a YouTube video on that so that you guys can follow along, and maybe that works for you guys as well. So that's one. Next is YouTube thumbnails. That's a must. I have to make those. Just create a few templates and post those for the ones that I've done before, and yeah, have something on there that shows, okay, here's what I learned, here's what I made or lost, and yeah, so in the process of doing that. And then like I was saying earlier, write and prep in the AMs. So take the morning time when it's more quiet, spend that time to write, like review all the learnings that I've had over the last few years around trading, around training my mind, around the markets, all those. Review those, create a structure, start posting, start publishing, and then use that time to also prep for these live trading sessions as well, so that I'm a little bit more prepared. I feel like I've gotten more prepared last week compared to the first week that I was doing this, but definitely more, not as much as I could have. So this is yeah, like I need to write. I know I can write, and I know that'll help me crystallize my understanding better, and maybe I can help one of you guys in the process while doing that. So that's it. Not a regular trading day like usual, but like I was saying to you guys, if you guys missed it at the beginning, I failed my top set trading combine last week on Friday. So I'm gonna start my reevaluation later this month, in the third week. So in 2 weeks, I'm looking to get started on that again. But until then, my focus is on some of the things I just mentioned: writing, YouTube thumbnails, cleaning up some of my strategies so that I can share it with you guys. Also focused on, if you guys see on here, my crypto strategy. So I'm focusing a little bit more on that, using some of my learnings from the market to apply that to the crypto market, make sure I'm set for that. So not as much futures live trading. Maybe I'll spend a day to go over my future strategy and what I have found. Yeah, I'm going to spend the next couple of weeks doing that. I'm going to be out of town on Thursday and Friday this week. So we're going to do one more session tomorrow. And then Thursday and Friday, I'm going to be out of town, and we'll pick this back up on Monday. So that's it. I spent a good 45 minutes or so doing this, but I feel this is worth it, so that I can show you guys what I'm about, what this channel is about, where we're going, and I'd love for you to join us along the journey. That's it. Thanks you all for listening. We out. Maybe one of these days I'll come up with something clever to say to close out. Me and my friends, we have the saying, there's money to be made. So maybe I'll end with